So Peter has to hunt down the lizard because he's inclined to now. He's still training himself with his powers here and there, like, oftentimes without masks. There's just one scene where he just flies down into the street, on a web strand, knocks over a bunch of tables and things, completely plain clothes. So yeah, I'm kind of surprised that the word isn't out on the street who this guy is. And I mean, if the police are really curious about tracking this guy down, why don't they see who's ordering all this high-tech webbing material? Peter orders it from a website. Again, I don't know how he has the money for all this multi-billion-dollar stuff, but he's smart, so I guess he figures some way around it. Peter figures that he's got to track down the lizard. He talks about it with Gwen Stacy, who's by now his sidekick, basically. He's shown her the spider that dug into his skin, after all, and they're on the bleachers. Someone throws a ball at his head because his head is forever attracting balls. Oh, that's obscene, isn't it? And he throws it away, and it destroys, bends the goalpost. And of course, no one's ever going to make the connection that this kid who's strong enough to do that might actually be a superhero. They'll just keep on pushing around Peter Parker. Peter decides to head down into the amazingly pristine sewers to track down the lizard, who he knows he's down there, because that's where lizards go. Apparently, there's a lizard explosion in the city. The population of the lizards is just multiplied for some reason, I guess. And so he just knows that the lizard is down there. He lowers himself into a sewer junction and shoots webs all over the place into all these holes, so that he'll be able to sense when the lizard shows up. Heaven forbid that a subway worker or transient should just stop by and alert him, but whatever. And he hangs out there for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours, waiting for some sign of the lizard. Again, I have to question how much this must be biting into his school time, but he's working it out somehow, I guess. I guess he just tells his Aunt May he's at the gym all day. And eventually, yes, the lizard trips one of his webs. It shows up. They have themselves a fight. He gets the claw marks across his costume, which you see in all the posters. It's like his second insignia. And he's kind of outmatched by the lizard, so he has to scramble off and escape. But I love this too. This is great. The lizard finds a camera that Peter had webbed to the wall of the sewer because he wanted photographic evidence of the lizard. He went to the police chief earlier, but of course, the police chief, being the gruff, semi-lovable guy that he is, didn't believe him. No, Dr. Kirk Connors has turned into a mutant lizard. Yeah, go on out with your crazy stories, Peter Parker. But anyway, the lizard, after their scuffle, he finds one of Peter Parker's cameras that he webbed to the wall. He picks it up, and Peter actually used a label maker to put "property of Peter Parker" on his camera. Oh, God. Who even really uses label makers for anything? Really? The genius. It's like he's got this subconscious burning desire to let the world know that he is Spider-Man, so he keeps sabotaging himself in all these ways. So yeah, now the lizard knows who he is. And so back at the high school, and oh, by the way, Flash and Peter are friends now, because Flash was kind of sorry for Peter's uncle dying, and I guess that makes the brutalization okay. Yeah, no hard feelings for shattering my colon. Don't worry about it. Just stiff upper lip. Anyway, yeah, the lizard comes to the school, just breaks up through the men's room floor. And it's not exactly clear whether or not Spider-Man in this incarnation has spider sense, because there's a lot of things he does not see coming. And the lizard, so he gets into this fight. He chases all the students out of the school, except for Gwen, of course, who stays behind, to hit the lizard with something. Like, again, something seen this hundreds of times before, but it's this good scene where Peter gets her out. I'm gonna throw you out the window now. It's just kind of neat. And anyway, they scuffle. It's a neat fight. it's a bit constrained by the high school environment. There's a cute Stan Lee cameo. I love those. And the police arrive, and the lizard retreats. And the police chase Spider-Man, of course, because he's public enemy number one, of course. But now the police know that the lizard's out there too, and the lizard, perhaps sensing that things are closing in on him, he goes to his lab and he sets into motion his plan to mutate the denizens of New York into lizard beings like him, because that will bring him fulfillment, I suppose. It's just something he feels like he has to do. Okay. So he gets this green gas in these canisters, and the police corner him, and he manages to use his healing factor to overcome them, and he sprays it everywhere, and then the police officers start mutating. And for a while there, I thought that we'd have like mutant lizard monsters running all over New York, but no, that doesn't happen. They just get green skin and sick for a while, and so it's kind of a missed opportunity there, I think. But nope. Spider-Man scrambles to catch up with the lizard and thwart his evil plan, which he knows about by now, because of course, when he found the lizard's lair, the lizard left all his video material on, all his screens are on, no screensavers or anything, all his videos are up, and his plans are laid out neatly on the table, so Peter knows exactly what he's doing. But of course, he has to have his confrontation with the police, and they manage to catch him with these electrified bullets, and he falls to the ground, and the police surround him, and the police chief himself comes out, Gwen Stacy's father. Does he have a name? What's his name? Hold on a second. I'm gonna look it up online. I know it's police chief something Stacy. George Stacy. I knew that. It was George Stacy. So yeah, George Stacy. He comes up to Peter with a gun pointed at his head. He's Peter's handcuffed. He's out of it. He's and he reaches over to take the mask off, and he does. Just whips the mask right off of him. All the police are looking right at him, but I guess they only glimpse his distinctive hair before he flips out, breaks the handcuff, starts pushing the police away, doing his thing, he's not really hurting any of them, of course, but George Stacy, he looks right at him. They're dead to rights. And Peter's like, "You have to let me go." George Stacy, "You have to let me go. You have to let me go." Well, okay. He takes the mask back, puts it back on, and he flies off. But one of the police officers is, because George, he's like, no shooting. I'm gonna shoot him anyway. Blam! And it gets Spider-Man through the leg. Again, so much for spider sense. And the helicopters are following Spider-Man now, and it looks like Spider-Man's been hurt. Yeah, that they can observe. But when he's unmasked for a solid minute fighting police officers, I guess they completely miss that. And I love it. Now, at this point, Spider-Man is on a straight shot. Okay, there's this line of buildings from where Spider-Man is to the Oscorp Tower. And see, the lizard is climbing up the tower with this machine on his back and the lizard juice. And he's going to get to the top of the tower and activate the machine and turn everyone into New York into lizard people for some reason. And he's trying to get over there, but that darn leg, he just can't get over there fast enough. But this guy, the guy whose son Peter saved, sees him on the news. Hold on a second, sees him on the news, and get this, he's a crane operator. What are the odds? The guy's a crane operator, and he looks around to all his crane operator buddies and like, "Come on, guys, Spider-Man needs us crane operators. It's our time to shine. You, get up to your crane. You, get up to your crane. It's time for all crane operators to unite." Apparently, all the crane operators, they're really good at their job. They can get right up to the tops of their cranes. These are the giant cranes that they used to build skyscrapers with, and all the guys get up there in a matter of, in 30 seconds flat. And they're all lined, and they're all, I guess, just hiding behind that particular line of buildings, and they all swing their, it's like a Broadway choreography. They all swing their cranes out into the middle of the line of buildings so that Spider-Man can rappel off of them and make good time to the building. See, it's Spider-Man's lesson being taught to the city. People are no longer just standing by while good people suffer. No, he's taught them a better way to live, and all the crane operators wheel their cranes out in the middle of this one line of buildings. They just happen to be there. And Peter, he webs up his gunshot wound in his leg, so he's basically fine now. And he zips over to the Oscorp building, and Gwen Stacy was there, by the way, and she was mixing up the antidote to the lizard serum. And there was this one great scene where the lizard was hunting through the office space for her, and she was hiding in a closet. And this is another thing you've seen a bunch of different times, but he opens the door, and she does the old thing with the spray can and the match to make a little miniature flamethrower at him, and the lizard's just like, yeah, you got my thing there. And he picks it up out of the closet and then just sort of leaves her alone, and that was great. Yeah, okay, there are some things that this movie's done that you haven't seen before, which I like. I'm probably not giving it enough credit, but okay. Anyway, Gwen comes out the bottom of the building, and and her father rushes up. He got there really fast too, and she's like, "Here's the cure," and he's like, "I'll go up there." You think he'd send a team of police officers up to the top of the building? No. I'll get up there. I'll go up there and I'll help your boyfriend fight off the lizard myself. Chief of police. Is he chief of police or captain? Oh. Yeah. Okay. He's captain. Sorry, but still, you think he'd send some other guys up there? Nope, it's just him. He's in Camp Spider-Man now. So Peter and the lizard meet at the top of the building, and they have their fight, and complete with convenient canisters of nitrogen, conveniently breakable, which of course that's the lizard's weakness. The extreme changes in temperature. So that's how they begin to fight back the lizard. And of course the lizard does the villain stick, the Voldemort bullcrap. He's like, oh, poor Peter Parker. No mother, no father, no uncle, no allies, no one. And then George Stacy hops up and says, "He's got me!" Racks up his shotgun and starts firing at him. And of course, Peter blasts him with the liquid nitrogen, which is there for some reason. And he starts blasting the lizard apart. Managed to incapacitate the lizard, and Peter's web shooters are crushed right now. So he goes up there and he exchanges the antidote for the lizard serum and the lizard man and the rocket launchers, but the good stuff, it's the blue stuff instead of the green stuff. And so all the citizens and the mutating police officers are saved. They just sort of turn back, and but not before George Stacy takes a fatal wounding. And Peter falls, but Kurt Connor is now in his right mind again, manages to save him. He just happened to be in the right spot at the right time to catch him as he's falling. And pulls him back up as his arm dwindles away again, and he's melting. But he's okay. But George Stacy, he's dying, and he's on the ground, and he's like, "You're okay, Peter. You're okay." And of course, he doesn't die fast enough to not get his final words out. But no, he's like, "No, you're a good guy. Just promise me this one thing: leave my daughter alone forever." Isn't that great? Even in Sam Raimi's films, that's like the curse of Peter Parker. People are always making him promise to do things that are hard to do. It's like before I die, I want you to promise me something. It's one thing. Don't ever wear clothes again. I want you to be completely nude. I always hated clothes. Let this be my legacy. Never wear clothes again. Please do this for me. It's my dying wish. No, so yeah, Peter has to step back from Gwen Stacy now, and it's starting to play out like it did in the first Spider-Man movie. The little girl he loves, he has to start leaving her behind. But, near the end, they just sort of say, well, nuts to that, And Gwen's like, yeah, he made you promise, didn't you? Well, never mind, he's dead. Who cares? And the movie ends with a shot of Spider-Man silhouetted against the moon. Because remember, he only operates at night. He's a nighttime vigilante. Oy. And of course there's an after-credits, mid-credits sequence where Kurt Connors is led into again, this is the end of the movie. A lot is left unresolved. There's very little resolution. Even Aunt May, Peter comes back after saving the city, and he's got all these bruises and everything, but he bought her eggs because he asked him to get eggs, and he remembered this time, so I guess that handles that.